I can remember my dad squeezing me so hard that the blood vessels would break behind your eyeballs kind of thing. And you go to school the next day with blood red eyes. He could get you to the top of the mountain, which is his word for screaming for your life, where you're actually screaming and pleading and begging for your life, which Lord knows I did on numerous occasions. And I have great respect for him now, and I think of a lot of what he did. It was the way kids were raised in those days, just how he was brought up.
Have you been to the dungeon before?
No, never. I've never been to the Hart family house.
It's kind of weird because this is one of those famed houses that we as wrestling fans have always heard about. We've always heard about this dungeon, and then you see it, and you kind of felt like, or at least I did. I was like, well, that's not what I was expecting. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a fucking basement, but I don't know. It's one of those things you just kind of hype up in your head.
Let me see your hand, you big bastard. Yeah. You know, I can take your finger and put it back here. Yeah.
He would love you. He'd fucking have you screaming uncle in no time.
I'm sure it
Have I told
would.
the priest story?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to digress. There's a famous Hart family. I think it was in Wrestling with Shadows about Stu Hart. And there was rumor of a priest locally in Calgary that might have been inappropriate with some young boys. And so Stu invited the priest over to the house to have a chat with him. And Stu took him downstairs in the dungeon. And as legend goes, Stu stretched the priest, and the priest screamed so much that you could hear it all over. But Owen taped the priest screaming.
My brother Bruce sent Owen in once to tape record this one guy. He was actually really pathetic. He was crying and weeping through the whole thing.
Yeah, perverted bastard. Did the boys, little boys, scream like that when you had them down in your parish, you sick, perverted fuck?
There's some country western song in the background, and this guy screaming, and my dad saying, "Have some discipline."
And this went on for like an hour before Stu finally released the priest back into the real world.
Well, good for him.
So that was a famous story. I think it was in Wrestling with Shadows. That was
I like Stu a lot better now.
I see through my father's eyes a little more, and I know that it must have been a real tough thing to do to raise 12 kids. And I have great respect for him now.
We are building a religion. We are building it bigger. We are widening the corridors and adding more lanes. We are building a religion.